Today, we're talking about functional depression. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another Testimony Tuesday. In today's video of Testimony Tuesday, I want to talk about a subject that is pretty personal to me, pretty important to me, and that is functional depression. So I'm going to try to get through this video without getting too emotional. First off, I want to say thank you, God, for curing me from depression and anxiety. And I say that with the utmost confidence, because I know the things that would have took me down previously are now like water rolling over my back. So first and foremost, I want to give all thanks, glory, and honor to God. Okay, so back in February of 2019, early February 2019, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Now, the reason why I say functional depression is because I have been dealing with this for years before my diagnosis, but I was just living life like a lot of people do. Depression is real, and a lot of times we deal with it internally, and that internal depression always finds its way out, and the hope is that it finds its way out in a space where you're able to get help, because we know how serious, devastating, and detrimental depression can be. So let's rewind back to 2019. My divorce was finalized in February 2019, and I had been separated for some years. Okay. This was something that we both agreed on. Some things had happened, and we just couldn't see through it. So we've been separated for years, as I said. We had two young boys at the time, and it was a difficult process for them. However, we did co-parent the best that we knew how. A week, maybe between a few days and a week after the divorce was finalized, I had my first anxiety attack. And when I say this thing scared me so bad, because previously I had been dealing with feelings of depression and, just feeling really down and isolating myself and, just sleeping a lot and not really feeling like doing much. But this day, I had literally broken down. So I teach 5th grade, so I'm in my classroom preparing for the day, as I always do, and one of my coworkers just happened to come in and, just like, "Good morning, Flowers, how are you doing?" And the tears just came on. Like, I just started crying hysterically, sobbing uncontrollably. I just could not stop. Like, I was in such a state that I've never experienced before. I was hyperventilating, I was shaking. I was a mess, a complete mess. And she was like, "Are you gonna be okay? The kid's gonna be coming in soon. We can have someone come into your classroom. Do you want me to contact admin?" I'm like, "No, I'm out, through the tears. I'll get myself together. I don't want to leave the kids." And, she was just telling me, like, you can't be there for the kids if you can't even get yourself together. So of course she called admin, and I went downstairs and spoke to admin a little bit briefly about what was going on. They called the social worker in, and after speaking with the social worker and us meeting for a while and talking about everything that was going on, they made the executive decision that I should probably, get an evaluation. So I'm thinking like, no, I don't need an evaluation. I just need to pull myself together and, just get through this like I always do in all situations. But this time was a lot different, and I knew that I could not quite handle this time on my own. And at this time, I was not on a faith journey. So my relationship with God was not as strong as it is now. So I agreed to go ahead and do the evaluation. So they did the evaluation over the phone. And from the evaluation, they suggested that I come in. So because of the mental condition state that I was in at the time, they didn't feel safe with me driving to the appointment. So they're like, well, is there anyone that you can call? And I'm thinking like, I do not want my family to know that I have broken down in this manner at work. I can say that I am pretty much the strong one in the family. I'm not a very emotional person, or at least I wasn't back then. I kind of keep my feelings bottled up till I come to that point where I explode. And so I'm just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My mom lives like 5 minutes from the school. So they were like, well, why don't we just call your mom? And I'm just like, okay. So the social worker calls my mom and, lets her know that I'm not doing so well and they're gonna drop me off at her house. So I go to her house and I kind of semi-explain to her, the situation. Now, at this time, we weren't having discussions, to be honest, in my family about depression or anxiety or seeing a therapist or anything like that. It was like, you pray, you give it to God, you get yourself together, you pull yourself out by your bootstraps, and you keep going. So having this conversation was a bit difficult. However, I did have the conversation, with my mom, let her know what was going on. The appointment was scheduled for a little bit later in the afternoon. So I stayed at my mom's house for a couple hours, and then she took me to my car so that I could drive myself to the appointment, which I did. And going into this appointment, I was so nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to come out of it. I just didn't know, so I was going in blind. However, I knew that I was going to be honest in the appointment so that whatever help I did need, that I would be able to get. So we go through the evaluation. I believe I talked to 2 or 3 people, I'm not sure. But at the end of it all, they suggested that I do a day program for the next 6 weeks. And I'm like, I teach. I can't be in a day program. I have 2 small boys that I'm co-parenting. I can't be in this program. So they were like, well, this is important. We think that, in the condition that you are in now, we don't think you need to be hospitalized, but we do suggest that you do this day program. So without hesitation, I'm like, okay, so what do I need to do? So the day program was Monday through Friday, or Monday through Thursday. I can't even remember now because it's been so long. Monday through Thursday, or either Monday through Friday from 8 to 12. So at 8 o'clock, I would go there until 12 o'clock, and then 12 o'clock, I would go home. And this was for 6 weeks. So I had to do FMLA from my job. So I was away from my job for the duration of the program. And the program consisted of some group therapy sessions, which were absolutely so helpful. Individual therapy sessions, and then they also set me up with a psychiatrist and also with the therapist that I saw. So throughout the program, I did learn a lot of coping skills and coping mechanisms, things to look out for, just a lot of knowledge I got from this program, because I felt like I was in school. I gave it my all. I was present every day. It did take me a little while to start sharing out. I would just sit back and listen in the beginning, but once I started sharing, there was no stopping me. And my sharing was so emotional. I was in there crying like a whole baby, but it was definitely helpful nonetheless. So, quick PSA. If you are feeling like you can't go further, or that you are just stuck in this place where you're isolating yourself and you don't want to get up out of bed, you don't want to do your normal routines, when you get to this place, seek help. Seek help from God, but also seek mental health. It is so important. At this point in my life right now, I have a true relationship with God. I'm praying daily. I am in my word. But I know that in addition, mental health, seeking therapy, all of the things are very important. They are crucial. So if you are that person, or if you know that person, please advise them to seek the mental health that they need. Okay, so I complete the program. At the end of the program, I have to have family members to come in to the program with me. So I had my daughter, who is my rock, my best friend, my everything. She did some therapy sessions with me. My mom did a therapy session with me, and the therapy session that I had to do with my mom was so scary, because originally I was feeling like, I'm going to this therapy session because this divorce has just taken me out. But going through the therapy session, I learned that there were a lot of things, traumas that I dealt with being a teenage parent, childhood traumas, just things that I've been through in life that just kind of, build up to this point. And having to discuss some of those things with my mom was a bit difficult and kind of emotional, and I was a little nervous because I didn't know how she would feel. I never want her to feel like it's her fault that I got to this state, because I know that my mom is the best mom ever. That nobody say nothing bad about my mama. And I know that everything that she did for us was what she knew to be the best thing. And when I say my mom is that girl, if you know her, you know she is that girl. So I never want her to feel any type of way at all. However, we got through it. I finished the program. I continued with therapy. I did not, though, continue to take the depression medicine, because I'm not a medicine type of person. But I did continue with all of the skills and the tools and the resources that they gave me through the program. So that was therapy 1. It happened again. So a few years later, another breakdown at work, nonetheless. And this anxiety tag really kicked off when my grandmother got really sick. So I have a small family on both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. So on my dad's side, it was basically my dad, my grandmother, which is his mother, and we do have a few cousins on my dad's side that we communicate with, but not on a regular basis, and not many. So I had already lost my dad, and my grandmother was like the last piece that I had, you know, of something of my dad. And so when her health started declining and we had to move her out of her place into the nursing home, it was very difficult for me. And I just felt myself spiraling and tumbling back, and went through the same situation again, had to go back into that program, which I was kind of embarrassed because it's like, I already went through the program, now I'm back again. But here we are. I had to do it because it needed to be done. This time though, however, I wasn't as vocal about me being in the program. I had only told my daughter, and I'm not even sure if I told my mom. I didn't tell many people about the second time that I had to go into this day program. Some of it was embarrassment, and some of it was just because I just felt like the first time I was in the program, I have to be honest, I just didn't feel that I had a lot of support. And I felt like the first time it was more emotional. The second time it was more of anger. So I was just kind of selfish and like, well, I don't really need to tell anybody because what is anybody going to do anyway? I was in it the last time and no one was really there. So why even share it? So I kind of went through it. And my daughter knew, like I said, that I was going through the program. No one else knew. And this is where that functional depression comes in at, because I'm living life. I'm still creating content as a content creator solely because when I create content, like doing hair, my hair videos and hair tutorials and things like that, that is my happy place. Like that is where I find peace. That's what makes me happy. And during this time, I needed to do whatever it was that was going to make me happy. And creating content was that thing. So I did continue to do that. But no one knew what I was going through on the other side of that camera. Like all they saw was me creating these beautiful hairstyles and doing these tutorials, but they had no clue what I was dealing with inside. And this is just a message. Be kind to people because you have no idea what someone is going through. So this video has already gotten to be a little bit long, so we're going to pause here and then maybe we'll do a part 2 of this video at a later time. But I am so glad that I got through this video. Had to choke back a few tears, but we got through it. I thank you all for watching this video. If you or someone you know have been through depression, let's talk about it in the comment section below. And as always, if you see a comment in the comment section that speaks to your heart, grab a hold of it for yourself, because remember that what God has done for someone else, He can definitely do the same for you. Until next time.